Hi guys, so in today's video, 3 looks 1 palette video, and this is a palette that I'm going to be using for these 3 tutorials. Now on the first tutorial, which is going to be the Halo Eye, actually my favorite look out of all of the 3 that I created, that's where I show you the foundation that I'm wearing, the concealer, the primers, like everything I show you in that first one. And then for the other 2 I don't show you because I'm using the exact same products for all 3 looks. The only thing that changes throughout the looks is the bronzer that I'm using, the highlighter, the blush, and the lip color. Those 4 things I do show you within each look. You know what I mean? Like apart from like the foundation, the base products, the eyebrows, all of that. So if you're interested to see how I achieve all 3 makeup looks, then make sure you keep on watching. Okay, so for the first look, what I'm going to be doing, priming my eyes, I'm just using the Shape Tape, and the first shade that I'm going to be using is Orange Soda. I'm just going to be buffing this into my crease. I am kind of setting it first, and then I'm buffing it into my crease. The next shade that I'm using is called Dusty Rose. It's just this mauvish color, and I'm going to be putting this right beneath that Orange Soda color that I put first. And then this, I want this shade to really pop, so I'm just building it up. I'm then just gonna go back to Orange Soda just to further diffuse that Dusty Rose color. With a more precise brush, I'm just gonna be taking the shade Sienna, and I'm gonna be buffing this right underneath that Dusty Rose color that I put down. And it's just gonna help me buff out the next shade that I'm gonna be using because it's very, very dark. So I just want a smooth transition. That's what I'm using this shade for, just to really deepen it up and so we don't have any harsh lines. Okay, so in this part you're gonna see me go from a really, really precise brush to a more fluffy brush, and that is because I am placing Cypress Umber, which is this very dark, deep, cool tone brown shade, right underneath my crease with all of those colors, just smushing them together. And I'm using the other fluffy brush just so I can get a smoother look and everything can look blended. Did half cut crease, and I've just set it with the shade Tempera from this palette. It's just like a bone shade, and I'm also taking this very dense, precise brush, and I'm taking Cypress Umber, the very dark brown shade, and I'm putting it right above that cut crease that I did, just so I can have more depth and just so I can look more blended. Okay, so for this next part, I'm just putting down the shade Glistening. It's just this gold iridescent color. It's so pretty, and I feel like the camera just does not do the justice for this color. And I don't know why I didn't show you the color, but as you can see, it just looks so pretty on the eyes, and I'm not wetting it. This is just like the shade on its own. And then I'm also just taking the Cypress Umber, which is a dark shade again, on my inner and outer corner with this Anastasia brush, just so we can have that halo. Of course, just repeating that same step, cut crease, the glistening shade, and then inner and outer corner. Get it? It's the same deal, just showing you the process a little bit faster. The first primer that I'm going to be using is this E.L.F. Hydrating Balm, and I'm just going to be putting this all over my face because I am dry, and then I'm just going to be pressing this into my skin. The next primer that I'm going to be using is the No Poreblem by Touch and Soul, and I'm just going to be concentrating this where I have the most pores, which is in my cheeks and just around my nose and forehead. For foundation, I'm using a combination of the Clinique Beyond Perfecting Foundation and the Covergirl Healthy Foundation. I find that the Clinique one just gives me like a more full coverage and matte finish, and then the other foundation just gives me a very fresh look. So the combination of these two is just perfect. I am working in sections just because the Clinique one dries very fast, so I just want to be safe and work in sections. For concealer, I am using Tarte Shape Tape, of course, and I'm just going to be putting this, yeah, everywhere, just to highlight and just obviously conceal. For contour, I am going to be using this Wet n Wild MegaGlo contour stick, and this is in the shade Oats on You, I believe. If not, I will list it down below. But yeah, and I also just sprayed my sponge so I can have an easier time blending this stick out. This is very, very smooth, but I just wanted to make sure it was extra. I'm then just going to be contouring my nose, and just so it can look a little bit smaller. I mean, it really doesn't help, but I tried. And then I just use some concealer on the sides just so I can further camouflage that contour and it can look smoother. I'm just going to be blending out my creases before I start baking with my Fit Me Loose Finishing Powder. This is in the shade Fair. And then, yeah, I'm just pretty much baking everywhere where I put concealer. Okay, so because I'm very, very dry, I don't let my baking sit there for too long. Honestly, the most would be like 2 minutes, and then, okay, and then to set my contour, I'm going to be using this pressed powder by Maybelline. It is actually like a foundation powder or something like that. But I'm just using it as a bronzer to set my contour. And this is in the shade Caramel Toffee. Now for the real bronzer, I'm using the Butter Bronzer, and just so I can further bronze my face. I just love this bronzer, so smooth, never fails. Moving on to highlighter, I'm going to be using this Master Chrome highlighter by Maybelline. This is the Rose Gold one. This is the Gimme More highlighting palette by Colourpop, and I'm just taking the shade Bigger and Better for a more peach toned highlighter. And now for blush, I'm going to be taking this NYX cheek palette, and I'm going to be going into this blush right here. It doesn't have any name, so it's just like a pink mauvish cool toned blush. Okay, and now I'm just going to be setting my face with this Make It Dewy setting spray by Milani, and yes, I did get it in my mouth. I'm now moving on to my brows, and I'm just using a combination of the Wet n Wild brow pencil, and then the L'Oreal one, which is my favorite. One is just to make them thicker, it's just faster, and then the other one is just for a more precise application. I'm now just going to finish the rest of my eyes, so I'm just going to be taking Orange Soda, Dusty Rose, and then last but not least, I'm just taking Cypress Umber to really smoke out that lower lash line. And I believe I did take a little bit more of Sienna just to have that more. For mascara, I'm going to be taking the L'Oreal Paradise Mascara, and then I'm also going to be taking another mascara, which is the Butter London one. It's the double stack mascara or something like that, but I'll be sure to leave it down below. It's the one we got in our BoxyCharm. And I'm also going to be applying some individual lashes, and I'm just going to be applying the Ardell. As you can see, I'm also taking like another mirror and placing it behind my eye just so I can really see where I'm placing those lashes. I'm quickly just taking this Ofra liquid lipstick in the shade Bel Air. It's just a nude pinky color. I just feel like it goes with these mauve and browns that I put on my eyes, and this is the final look. The second look is going to be a mauvish, smoky, more glammed up look with an eyeliner. I just wanted this look to be very blended, so as you will see, I use a lot of eyeshadows, but I just wanted to create this very smoky but very blended look. The first eyeshadow that I'm taking is Burnt Orange, and I'm just going to be buffing this into my crease. You will see in the next clip that I do use orange soda to further diffuse this color, but it's really unnecessary. You could just take your time with burnt orange, but if you are very fair, this will come out very pigmented, so I suggest you take orange soda to further do. On a more precise brush, I'm just taking Dusty Rose and I'm buffing this right into my crease. I want this to be really concentrated there. And then I grab the brush that I use for burnt orange. No extra product, just further diffusing those two colors together. I'm then just taking the shade Rustic to really blend those two colors together, and this is just going to serve as my other transition shade to further deepen up the crease. Since this is going to be a smoky eye, I'm concentrating this on the outer corner and bringing it no further than my crease, and then grabbing a fluffy blending brush to really diffuse all those colors together. So this is what I'm talking about. I'm just taking the shade Cypress Umber and really smoking it out just on the very outer corner to get a smoky effect. Like I said, I'm just using all of these shades so it can look very blended, and there can be like a transition between those lighter shades and these very deep brown shades that are eventually going to go onto the black shade. Before going into the black, feel free to grab the fluffy brush that was used for burnt orange just to further diffuse all of those colors together. I'm just taking a little witty tiny bit of Noir, which is a black shade, and just placing this on the outer corner of my eye, just really diffusing this color. And after this shadow, you can get very creative and just either use burnt orange or Dusty Rose to buff out into your crease to further diffuse everything. I personally put Dusty Rose just because I really like that color, but if you're more of a warm gal, then I suggest burnt orange will look just better if those are the colors that you prefer. This look will not be sultry and smoky without the shade Sultry, so that's the shadow that I'm taking. The shadow is very pigmented, and I'm gonna be placing this in the middle of my lid. I just want this to be sort of on the outer corner just for more dimension. So that's what I'm doing, and then I'm going to grab a fluffy brush just to diffuse the black and the sultry shade together. So then I'm just taking Rose Pink, which is a lighter shade of pink. I mean, sultry is also like a pinkish color, but I just wanted to look from like, I just wanted to go from like black to like a deep pink to like a light pink, and then I'm gonna grab another lighter shade right in the inner corner of my eye. First I took the shade Fairy on the very inner corner of my eye, but then I felt like it wasn't pigmented enough, so I grabbed a little bit of the shade Bronze, which is just a very deep gold shade. And after this, I'm just gonna go ahead and do my face off camera, and then I will come back and show you the highlighter, bronzer, and the lip color that I used to complete this look. To set my contour, I'm just going to be taking the Too Faced Chocolate Soleil bronzer, and I hit pan, so I was very excited. And yeah, I'm just going to take this everywhere where I applied my contour stick. Further bronze up my skin, I took some of the Physicians Formula Butter Bronzer. This one's in the shade Sun Kiss. It's just a little bit deeper than the one I used on my previous look. Yeah. So for highlighter, I thought it would only be appropriate to use the Rose Gold highlighter once again, because I mean the look is a little bit mauvish and has some pinks, so I thought it would be better to use this one. I also decided to go back to my Colourpop highlighting palette, and I took the shade, I believe this one's Full Service. It is the deepest, like purplish almost highlighter of the palette. Going back to the NYX cheek palette, I'm just going to be taking that blush that I pointed at. I'm sorry, these don't have any names, but it's just like a very nude blush. Okay, so I'm now going to be taking the Milani Make It Dewy setting spray and just melting all those powders away. After that, I'm going to go ahead and finish up the rest of the eyes, and the only eyeshadows that I used underneath my eyes are Dusty Rose, and then I took a little bit of burnt orange Then I went with Rustic on the very outer corner. And then last but not least, I just used Noir, which is a black shade on the very, very, very outer corner. You don't really have to go that far with this black. I mean, it looks really smoked out when you use the smallest amount. Then to highlight my brow bone, I'm just taking that purpley highlighter, which is called Full Service, I believe. And then for my inner corner, I wanted to really, really pop, so I took the lightest shade from the Colourpop palette, and then which is Bottomless. And then I can't remember what the pink one is called, but it's just the middle lighter shade, and you will see in a minute that I used both of these two. It's just like a combination of these two, just because I wanted it to really, really pop. In order to save some time, I just decided to do my eyeliner, my lashes off camera. I pretty much use the same combination for all three looks of mascara. And then I also applied individual lashes for this one. I'm just showing you here that I'm going to be applying the shade Trap by Colourpop. It's a ultra matte liquid lipstick. And then I decided it was too purple for the look, so then I went in with Aquarius to just lighten up the lips. And then this is just like an option, but I decided that I wanted my lips to actually be glossy, so I went ahead and put on Moonchild. But as you can see at the beginning how it looks with a matte liquid lipstick and then with a glossy liquid lipstick, so it would just be personal preference, but those are the those are the lip products that I used to finish up this look. And now this completes this second look. I just really like this one because these are my colors. I just really love mauves, and I just wanted to do like a smoky eye, like a very sultry, pretty, soft look. Moving on to the last look, I just wanted to create a smoky brown eye, and this is what I came up with. So yeah, the first thing that I'm going to be doing is taking orange soda, of course, just to further blend all of the browns and oranges that we're going to be using. Quickly moving on to burnt orange and just putting that right underneath that orange soda shade that we used. The next shade that I'm going to be using is Rustic, and it is this almost cool toned light brown shade, and it's just going to help me blend out that dark shade that I'm going to be going on next. Having this really dense brush to pack on Cypress Umber, and as you can see, I'm first tapping in the shade and then I'm blending it out. Now I did notice that it wasn't blending too well with just Rustic, so I decided to go on with Sienna and further blend those two eyeshadows because Cypress Umber is very, very deep. You will notice that this look is just about blending, so I just go back and forth from Cypress Umber and Sienna as well as burnt orange, just to really build up those colors and make sure they're all blended together. To set my contour, I'm just grabbing this Butter Bronzer by Physicians Formula. This one's in the shade Butter Bronzer. And then to further bronze up my skin, I'm grabbing this Too Faced bronzer, and it is in the shade Sweet Tea. I'm just grabbing my big fluffy brush to make sure everything is blended together. Then I'm going on to highlighter, and I'm using the Butter Highlighter by Physicians Formula, highlighting everywhere including my brow bone. Using the same setting spray that I've been using, the Milani Make It Dewy, just setting my face, and then I'm moving on to finish up the rest of my eyes. And for this, I just used burnt orange, sienna, Cypress Umber, and just smoke those out. The deeper the shade, the closer I put it to my lower lash line. I'm just grabbing this travel size eyeliner by Marc Jacobs. It is the black one, and I'm just using this obviously as an eyeliner, and I'm also tightlining with this. And for the inner corner highlight, I just grabbed the shades Bronze and Love Pink. And then for lips, I'm just using this E.L.F. lipstick in Crazy. And this is now the final look for the smoky brown eye. So I really enjoyed playing around with this palette. I think it's an awesome palette. It is full of warm tones, but then they also give you a cool tone, which I like because I can always just mix it with the other warm tones. And I tried to do like variations of like, you know, like the first one being a halo eye, the second one being a little bit more sultry and like soft look, and this is just like more like a smoky eye. But I also think it's very wearable. I think all of the looks that I did were very wearable, which was my goal in the first place. If you liked at least one of the looks that I created for this video, make sure you give me a thumbs up. I would really appreciate it. Please don't forget to subscribe before you leave. I would really appreciate it. And thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to watch this video, and hopefully I can see you on the next one. Bye.